At this moment, we want to receive a welcome address. We're going to receive Dr. Sylvie. Dr. Sylvie is the Vice Chancellor of Rwanda Polytechnic.
Executive leaders, heads of institutions, industry leaders, distinguished delegates, faculty members here present, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, good morning. It is with great pleasure and honor that I welcome you all to the Educational Collaborative 2025 June Convening, taking place here in Kigali for the first time. I extend sincere appreciation to each of you for joining this convening that promises to be an impactful and forward-looking gathering. I would like to first acknowledge with gratitude the Education Collaborative, an initiative founded by Ashesi University in Ghana for driving education transformation across Africa. The Education Collaborative is one rising higher education network conceptualized around the principle that the needed scale and speed for delivering transformation in higher education in Africa is beyond any single institution's capacity. Your leadership in higher education innovation continues to inspire and connect us. Today is just proof of that. Rwanda Polytechnic joined the Education Collaborative almost 4 years ago and started with system change program for employability to improve our career development system with Kepler College as exemplary institution to support us in that journey. Our vision was and is to impact student learning experience by providing the skill set to create and lead industry, businesses, community, and socioeconomic development. Our experience with Education Collaborative has shown that sustainable and meaningful collaborations are largely rooted in building strong relationships. We are honored and particularly encouraged to be joined today by a distinguished group of industry leaders, employers, policymakers, faculty members, and heads of higher education institutions, united by a common purpose to make student transformation the central focus of higher education reform across our continent. This year's theme is not only relevant, it's urgent. Across Africa, our institutions are being challenged to go beyond simply producing graduates. We are being called to cultivate well-rounded, adaptable, and value-driven individuals who are equipped to make meaningful impact and transform their communities in an ever-evolving world. We must be deliberate and consistent and upholding the values we champion, ensuring that these are reflected in every aspect of student life, from classroom and extracurricular activities to the broader campus environment. Over the next 4 days, we'll engage in deep reflection on current practices, mobilize our knowledge and resources for action, and examine ways to realign institutional strategies to better serve our students. This convening will feature plenary sessions, exhibitions, workshops, exclusive discussions, each designed to showcase bold ideas, evidence-based practices, and new models for improving student education outcomes. We will explore innovative practices for student development and institutional transformation, the critical role of artificial intelligence in shaping the future of education in Africa. These are not just intellectual distractions, these are strategic conversations aimed at shaping the future of learning and ensuring our institutions remain relevant, responsive, and resilient. Rwanda Polytechnic, we strongly believe in the power of collaboration. I believe every institution here present shares that belief. The challenge we face in higher education are too complex to tackle alone. By working together, learning from each other, building networks of trust, and sharing resources, we can achieve lasting impact. Let this convening be more than just a forum for dialogue. Let it be a catalyst for action, for forging new alliances, shaping impactful policies, and designing interventions that put African students at the center of a thriving, inclusive, and future-ready higher education ecosystem. As we are starting this convening, I wish to extend sincere thanks to everyone who has contributed to its organization. Your dedication has made this gathering possible. We look forward to success stories, partnerships, and innovations that will grow out of this convening and ultimately shaping the African higher education. Once again, welcome to the Education Collaborative 2025 June convening, and welcome to Rwanda, the country of thousand hills. For those who are in Rwanda for the first time, please do not leave without exploring Kigali and the country and spend a few extra days. May our time together be productive, inspiring, and deeply transformative. And now I have the honor of welcoming the Honorable Minister of Education, Joseph Sengimana, to the stage.
Vice Chancellors, President of Higher Education Institutions, Executive Director of the Education Collaborative, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the Government of Rwanda and the Ministry of Education, I'm deeply honored to welcome you to the 2025 June convening of the Education Collaborative. We are proud to host this important gathering in Kigali, a hub of innovation and growing center of higher learning in Africa. Rwanda welcomes you not merely as visitors, but as partners and co-creators in shaping a bold and shared vision for the future of higher education on our continent. Hosting this convening for the first time is both a privilege and a meaningful milestone. It reflects the deepening bonds of collaboration between institution and region across Africa, and signals a collective commitment to reimagining higher education systems that are fit for purpose in a changing world. As Africa positions itself within an increasingly interconnected global landscape, higher education must serve as a catalyst for deeper economic, social, and scientific integration. Our universities must evolve beyond their traditional mandate. They must become dynamic platforms for innovation, leadership development, and continental collaboration, incubators of the very transformation we seek across the continent. This 2025 June convening exemplifies that vision in practice. As we gather here in Kigali, we witness the power of collaboration, of convening institution, thought leaders, and changing agents across boards. We are united by the common aspiration, and through collective action, we can multiply our impact. This year's theme challenges us to reflect, mobilize, and realign around one of the most urgent goals of our time: delivering meaningful, relevant, and transformational learning experiences for African learners. Rwanda has long championed the value of strategic partnership in education. Our experience shows that through collaboration, whether in founding new institutions, designing student-centered programs, or reforming policies, we are better equipped to respond to complex and evolving needs of our youth through collaboration. Such partnerships have enabled us to think differently, act boldly, and prepare learners not only to succeed in today's world, but to shape tomorrow's Africa. I wish to express our sincere appreciation to the leadership of the Education Collaborative, especially Executive Director Rose Dad, and the Ashesi University and its visionary leadership. Your unwavering commitment to excellence continues to inspire institutions across the continent and elevate the standard of higher education in Africa. As we open the 2025 Stakeholder Symposium, I urge all of us to engage with openness, critical thinking, and a shared sense of purpose. Let this convening be more than a moment of dialogue. Let it be a platform for action. The work we undertake together here in Kigali must accelerate our collective effort to transform higher education into a force for inclusive, sustainable development. Let us reflect with clarity, mobilize with intent, and realign with urgency for the benefit of a generation of African learners to come and for all of us. Thank you very much, and I wish you a successful gathering.
Thank you. At this time, we want to get into a moment of a succession of keynote talks. We'll be getting that from 3 individuals. The first one will be Ms. Araba Boshwe, who is the Executive Director of Admissions and Financial Aid at the Ashesi University in Ghana. And in quick succession, will be followed by Mr. Jalal Sharaf, who is the Chief Digital Officer, Mohammed Polytechnic University. And lastly will be Professor Daniel Lapak, who is the Dean of Students at the University of Cape Coast. And they will come in that succession. And so to the first one, Ms. Araba Bochwe will take the first cue. She's the Executive Director of Admissions and Financial Aid at Ashesi University.
I'm basically here to talk about share how Ashesi University, the admissions department, we collate data and use that to facilitate departmental collaboration in the hope that student development outcomes will get a good start and then run through the program. Before we start anything, we try to look at what are we as a university looking out for in a student, right? And so setting the stage for important collecting information, we try to meet the various departments to say that, for example, academic affairs, if we're bringing students to you as an admissions team, what kind of student are you looking for? What will be your ideal student? And then we're looking to career services. What kind of student or who would you like to see? What basic traits would you like to see such that you can build upon? Student services, we're asking them, Ashesi is big on ethics, we're big on leadership. What would you like to see? So what we started doing was that we would meet with the various departments and ask them. So for example, every 2 years, we would meet a focus group meeting with faculty, academic team, with student affairs, all the key stakeholders. And we have the faculty and academic team telling us that we're looking for academic potential and ability to succeed. We drill it down, asking, what does that look like? And so we end up talking about verbal communication, ease of comprehension. We're looking at vocabulary, and then we're talking about analytical skills. We're asking evidence of time management, various key points that we use. And that facilitates how we even target our students or who we're looking to bring in. And then once they're with us, we also meet with student services. They're talking about ethical leadership, awareness of ethical issues. We're asking about participation in teamwork, because all these give us the picture of the kind of student we're looking for. And once we have that, we're able to pull all the information together, and then we use that to create the application form. And so once we get the application form, we're asking questions. What have you done in school? What shows that you're a team player? Because we need something to build on. And once we gather all this information, we push them now to the next step and give them to, we collect the information and give them to the various departments. For example, we have a student who's coming in with health issues. Are we able to give that information to the health center, health services, so that they will be prepared to receive that student and right from the onset, give them a good start, knowing that they need extra help? Student life engagement. We have a student who's been admitted with mobility issues. Where do we place them in terms of the dormitory? Do they stay on the ground floor because they're using crutches? So it's very important that right from the word go, there's collaboration between among various departments to ensure that, one, we're meeting expectation of the faculty of the various departments or managing even that expectation. Once that is done, we collect the information, send it to them so they are aware these are the kinds of students that we are expecting to come into our community, and they are better prepared to work with them. We have accessibility center. Do you have a student with hearing impairment? What kind of support are you going to provide for the person? Somebody with visual impairment, are there systems in place to assist them? So we collate the information through the application forms, through the interviews, and we're able to pass it on. And that's how we would collaborate with them. But once they get into our system, we go to another level of collaboration where we now meet at least once a semester with faculty to say, we brought you these students. We're asking, did we meet your expectation? What feedback do you have for us that we can put back into the system as we go to the next stage? So at least we're getting feedback from the various departments. Once a semester, student services to understand the engagement trends, patterns to pay attention to during admissions. Is there a trend showing that maybe a certain group of students have severe challenges or not? Do they have special needs? Do they need something else beyond what we saw at the interview level? So it's important that to ensure that the development of students are done right from the beginning. We work with each and every department to bring back the kind of students that they would like to see. And then we also get feedback. I guess there'll be time for questions. So my final conclusion is that I have a question. Would huge universities be able to take up this kind of activity? My answer is yes and no. No, because they may not be so nimble. It's huge. The departments are different, the schools are different. But yes, because we can start small. You could start from the School of Business, Engineering School, rather than start on a big scale. But it's very important to make sure that right from the beginning to the end, from enrollment to graduation, we're making sure that we are all working together. And as higher education institutions, I believe that of necessity, we have to think innovatively if we want to make sure that the outcomes we expect are not business as usual. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. We'd like to share with you some actually innovative projects that we carried out at University Mohammed VI Polytechnique in Morocco. And we hope to actually not only present it, but also collaborate with other institutions in Africa. We'll be very happy to share because we're about scale. So we're talking actually about using AI to rethink how education is done. This is a very actual question. As you can see, what's happening with the advent of AI, everything is changing, and even the notion of learning is being challenged. With all the content being readily free and available online, many students ask themselves, why would I go to a classroom in front of a professor and listen to what they have to say? So why AI in education? Because I think, in a simple answer, we need to solve all the problems with new technologies and new mindsets. It's all about the same thing. We want to empower minds. We want people to learn. And we are actually almost discovering a new technology, just like at some point people discovered, electricity. It's to that level that this is really serious. So the problems I was talking about that we try to solve is we have more and more students, and especially in Africa. And we want to solve the problem of access to quality education. And we cannot do it linearly with all the same tools that we've been doing. If you look at our university, which is 7 years old, we invested so much. And we cannot do the same thing. We cannot do the same thing in every country. We have to rely on digital to scale. And we need to touch as many people as we can in our continent. So we rely on AI because it has a multiplier effect. We can solve these problems using AI, as you can see. As you will see here, we used it with 3 different tools to reimagine certain processes and make actually education available to a higher number of people. So, of course, it's a new technology. We don't know so many things about it. Nobody knows exactly where it will stop because every week it changes. But we need to be, using it wisely with purpose, equity, and care. So how do we approach actually the question of education? Because we are talking about transforming how education is delivered. And we wanted it to be accessible, adapted, and empowering minds. As you can see, we all are worried about how our children and the youth are using these technologies. Many studies have actually shown that using AI and ChatGPT a lot can harm learning because people just look for answers and they don't really think. So we're big on critical thinking. We'd like people to stay mindful of their capacity to think. So there are so many things that we found, like we thought it was a good idea, but when you do research, you end up actually finding that it was not the right thing to do. So to do this, we tried to go to different tools, and we started with, we have the AI course builder. We used AI to actually speed up the process of making content. And we have used also the AI tutor, probably so many of you know about. It's AI being contextualized to the course content, and so that the students can actually have an exchange with a 24/7 tutor that is available for them. Now, the good, or maybe the bad news, is that AI learns from people and it has memory. Now your AI tutor or avatar or companion or whatever you call it is going to know so much about you that it will become your best friend. And some statistics came out. The very first use case of AI at ChatGPT was learning. Now it's psychology. So many people ask ChatGPT every morning about their problems, and they ask, how can I feel better? What should I call my husband? What should I do with my friends? And people have serious problems that they actually, talk to ChatGPT about, but they don't talk to other people, other humans about. So really, it's really a change in how we behave between us and with machines, and probably the future is about human and AI collaboration. And finally, the online classroom, which is something that you'll see, we got inspiration from Harvard Business School. When they had the COVID, they actually constructed the classroom so that you can see the professor from your screen, from your home, as if you were there. But now we're adding some things on top of it to make it a better experience with the use of AI. So the AI course builder, with AI, we can generate, we talk to a professor, for example, and say, what is your course about? They give us just a little bit information about the course, not all the content, but we can generate the syllabus, we can generate detailed content, and we can do the heavy lifting for the professor so that the course is developed and created very quickly. With this, we could cut actually time and cost by 80%, making it a quicker process to create content. And let me tell you something. Everybody, when we look at content online, we talk about case studies in the US. Everybody talks about Netflix and McDonald's, but we need to talk about case studies here in Africa. And I think the future for us is, I think the future for us in Africa, and I spend my time saying this, is about contextualizing. We need to solve our own problems. Believe me, the other countries will not take care of our own problems. You know why? It's because they don't have the context, they don't get it. It's easy. I mean, we don't get their problems either, But that's normal, that's human. That's why we have to use these technologies to address our own challenges, and for this, we have to talk about ourselves. So here is a movie, I don't know if we have the sound, but it shows you very quickly the course content creation.
In a world shaped by ideas, we empower minds to imagine, to create, and to lead. At the Digital Learning Center, we're redefining how knowledge is designed through our AI course builder, built to scale, adapt, and empower. Development becomes seamless, fluid, adaptive, and efficient, where the friction of complexity gives way to intuitive, effortless innovation tailored for every learner. Here, co-creation is not a trend, it's the heartbeat of transformation. Faculty, instructional designers, and intelligent systems side by side, designing with purpose and precision. With smart authoring, every voice, from educator to subject matter expert, has the power to shape the future of learning with clarity, creativity, and speed. Faster, sharper, bolder. This is accelerated production, where precision meets ambition and scalable impact becomes the new standard. And while we create, automation takes care of the rest, eliminating repetitive tasks, ensuring consistency, and unlocking the freedom for teams to focus on what truly matters: creativity and connection. We are not just building tools, we are transforming education for learners, for institutions, for generations to come.
Actually, in this process, when we did this, we solved the problem we had at UM6P, which was that all the professors didn't have time to go sit down and get, registering the different sessions in videos. It's too much for them, and you can understand that, because if you say something wrong, you have to redo the session from the start. Now, it took me 3 minutes to talk about my cat, the story of my cat, that's all. And with this, they made my avatar, and they produced hundreds of videos when I was sleeping. So the team can actually take your avatar, they capture the sound, well, these tools are available online. It's not something that we created, you all know about it, like HeyGen and all the likes. But we used it to actually create content with videos, but also content with diagrams and things that the students actually really appreciated. When they hear you talk about concepts, they can go down and look at things that are explained. And if they still don't get it, they go to the AI tutor, which was the second actually tool. And the AI tutor is becoming, again, better and better, and becomes better with time. As long as you interact with it, it knows more about you. So the third one was the online classroom. And what we're trying to do is, about those tools that come to your meeting to take notes, automatic. They listen and then they give you summaries and all that, Otter AI and things like that. In this, what we are trying to do is to analyze facial expressions of the students. And then at the end, give them a report saying, when the professor was talking about this notion, you frowned. Maybe you didn't get it. So here are some resources so that you get better. So you actually go to the student and say, we identified maybe that you didn't get this point, and we can help you. So this becomes really personalization at scale. This is customization to every person, which means people come to the classroom to have a discussion, a debate. We're all learners and teachers at the same time. So we debate with everybody, and every person, every student, every learner, they have their own experience in this. So these were the things that we tried, and we are seeing change. Students want to come to the classroom more than before because they're really interested. Faculty now don't hesitate to have their course digitized, And as I told you, we cut down the costs and the time by 80%, which allows us now to scale very quickly and go to what I said in the beginning, go to more learners in Africa. And with this, to finally tell you about something that we're launching, we're talking about a project called Africa 100. What we want to do is make sure that at least we train 100 million Africans to AI. The reason why we talk about training people is the best way to adopt the technology is to have people use it. It's not really to tell them about the theory. It's they have to take it and use it. And you know what? All the young people already use it. Because all you need is a smartphone and a connection. And this is available almost everywhere. So if we have to do something, is just give access to people to content that is contextualized and to this technology. And we'll be very happy to cooperate with universities in Africa. So whoever is interested, this is a project that we're going to be launching with Harvard Business School and with other institutions that I cannot cover right now. But it's going to be a Pan-African project. So thank you very much for your attention.
So I'm from the University of Cape Coast. I am to say something on student-driven initiatives that transform. My university is one of the public universities in Ghana. We are blessed to have students who have thought through with us and have come out with some initiatives that we think are transformative. And we want to share this with the audience and to encourage students who are here to see that they are important partners when it comes to how we can transform their lives in school. So I want to talk about just two initiatives that have been taken up by our students that are worth sharing. And they are here. From the slide, I'm sure we can see the building, the face of the building. I think the first one I want to talk about is the Student Representative Council building. Yeah, our students felt the need to support the university, put up a structure. Now, colleagues who are here, you will agree with me that with public institutions, funding is a problem when it comes to such infrastructure. And so our students identified this. It did not come easy, but they started thinking about it. They conceived this idea in the year 2001, 2002. It took them some time because they had to look for money. They had to go out there to see how they could raise funds to get this done. And so they picked up a loan facility that was guaranteed by the university. It took them 6 years. Actually, they started constructing this in 2004 and completed this infrastructure in the year 2010. Now, this is massive in the sense that the university is struggling with providing accommodation for students. And so if students could put their heads together to put up such a structure, I think it is commendable. And it shows the power of our students in coming together to do this. As we speak, this facility is able to accommodate 1,500 students. And this is an addition to what the university has already. The second thing I want to talk about is what we call the shuttle services on campus. Again, our students were challenged with moving around campus. Those of us who know the terrain in UCC, our campus is quite wide and broad, so commuting around was a problem. The students, again, conceived the idea that we could help. They came together, led by their leaders, the Student Representative Council leadership, and started this service. Now, what is this service? It's basically to have buses that are designated to help convey students across the length and breadth of the campus. They came out with 2 minibuses in 2014. They added 2 more in 2017 when they realized that most of the students were patronizing this service. Now, because they negotiate this, the price is much cheaper, other than being exploited by private transport owners. When they came out with this initiative, the price was so cheap that students were able to use this service. So going forward, they realized that the demand was high and they were not having the resources to have sufficient buses. So they had to get in touch with other transport owners. They started by first getting in touch with the Metro Mass Transport Services. I'm sure my colleague Ghanaians here are very familiar with that transport service. They came on board and gave them some fleet of buses to expand this initiative on campus. Along the line, they were having some challenges. So they got in touch with HM Boafo, another transport service, to come on board. In 2021, the university realized that this was a very good initiative. So the university took over this by signing an MOU with GAPTI, that is the Greater Accra Passenger Transport Executives. And today, if we look at the buses, we go back, you see that these buses are on campus, and those who have visited the University of Cape Coast, you will see that this is the main mode of transport. This is an initiative that was led by the students and then expanded by the university when it adopted it. And so I will conclude by saying that our students have the power to contribute to initiatives that will transform. As we speak today, we have over 20,000 students on campus who are making use of this bus service and are able to move in a very safe, reliable manner across campus. So we want to encourage our students. I know a number of our student leaders are gathered here. You have the power to do a lot, particularly those of us who find ourselves in the public space. Thank you.
I'm going to do a set of questions, and then we will, for every one of them, and then the audience will also bring their questions along. I want to begin with Prof. That's quite an innovative idea. I mean, transforming education systems and ecosystems through student-driven
Initiatives.
We all have been to a college somewhere, right? Or a university from whence we were hewn from. But even as alumni from those universities, you don't see that brand affinity that people are going to relate to the place where they school. What is this you're doing as a university so that students feel and have the brand affinity? They feel for the season we are in school, for the next 3 or 4 years, we can change and better this place for the generations coming. What are those things that you're doing as a university community?
I think the student experience is important. When students have a good experience of their stay on campus, it draws them back. So what are some of the things that we need to do as a university? One, we need to ensure that they have decent accommodation, for example, to have a good experience in staying throughout their course durations. So the universities need to look at how we can provide decent housing for them. It's unfortunate. You go to some universities and then you ask any student, what are your experiences? The first thing they will tell you, we are struggling to get a decent place. And so the universities ought to look at that. That is why we commend our students highly, because being able to support us to provide such a structure is a good example of how students themselves can support to make their experience worthwhile on campus. Also, we need to ensure that the teaching experience is worthwhile. And I'm happy Jalal is talking about how we can use AI to make teaching and learning on our campuses worth the experience. We also need to ensure that students are able to move with ease, because they have to move from one place to the other. how do we arrange that so that students can move? Maybe they are able to move from their dormitory facilities to lectures on time. And so initiatives like this, providing readily available means of transport, that is also economically, let me say, manageable. Because sometimes you allow the private owners to come in, they are going to charge fees that most students may struggle to. So it is good we have initiatives like I have just put across, where we negotiate and we have fees that are moderate for students. So to sum up and to allow you to continue, I would say the student experience on campus is one thing that we need to pay attention to as stakeholders in higher education, because the moment that students experience is something that he or she sees as good, he or she will leave and still have the memories and want to come back and contribute. Thank you.
Wow. We really have to realize that what's happening is really a grave moment, and especially in education, we have to totally change what we think are the standards in education. And that's why I think this is really the opportunity for Africa and for all the countries, all the people who want to catch up with the other world who's creating these technologies. And as a final note, I really don't think we should invest in the technologies just like they do. You saw what Trump got from the GCC, $5.7 trillion. Do we have that in Africa?
Yeah.
No. Africa is 2% of the world economy. So I think we should stop joking, and not imagining that we'll scale the same technologies in here. That's not the point. What we should do, on the contrary, is use those technologies. That's why we're talking about adoption and making it, all solutions are in the hands of the maximum people, because you saw with the DeepSeek moment in China, necessity is the mother of invention. That's what we have here in Africa.
Wow, thank you, Jalal. Amazing. I've been in the higher education trade for the last 8 years, and there's a nexus that is not nexusing, and this is a challenge. You are in admissions and financial aid. I will remove the financial aid bit. In most universities, you find that admissions is a role of, it's sometimes the role of the business development team, or what they call the marketing team, so that the admissions office is just a registry of sorts, keeping data, making sure all the paperwork are in good position. And that's okay, that's a model, working somewhere and it's succeeding. In other quarters, the admissions team does both the frontline work of championing for the brand, looking for new business for students, and also in the back end, they have a team that manages the registry function, the keeping of data, archiving of exams and all that. In your experience, where is this leading us in terms of realigning the demand for, we need to push for business so that we have more students? And in light of, there's a generation, I don't know whether it's something across the world, but in Kenya right now, we are having a challenge where students are questioning, why should I go to the university? And I think it's a challenge across Africa, but with this generation, why should I go for that paper and the other paper? So in reality of that, what do you think is the nexus between business development and the admissions, the registry role in universities, in both public and private universities, and in the function and in the experience you have?
All right, thank you very much. I think this is where it's important for us to look at the cross-departmental collaboration, right? At Ashesi University, we have a marketing team, that is the admissions team. We're looking for new businesses. We're doing interviews, bringing in the students. There's a registry that is keeping the student academic data. But we need to work with them, right, such that we know what everybody's looking for. And it's not just the two departments. It's an integrated system. And just like Prof. Apak said, the experience goes a long way. One student can tell a prospective student I've had such a good experience. It's in your interest to come. There's a difference between interacting with people in a classroom, learning from faculty, interacting with student services team, interacting with the health services, and just looking online individually, reading and getting knowledge. Knowledge is not only in the theory. Their very experiences, day-to-day experiences, make up part of the knowledge that the students get. Whether they're going to the restaurant or the canteen, whether they're going to the counseling team, whether they're going to, you name it. Each and every experience matters. And so, in my opinion, yes, you can get knowledge by just sitting in your room, but it takes away that human element. And then you're networking. I've seen people come from different backgrounds across the world, and then as they get together, they learn from each other. It becomes a learning point. Imagine having 4 people in a room, one from Zimbabwe, talking about salsa, another from Kenya, talking about chapati, somebody from Ghana talking about wache, and somebody from, you name it, talking about something else, matoke from Uganda. I have not been to Uganda, but I understand them. I'm able to connect. 10 years from now, if I have to go work in Uganda, I feel some sense of belonging because I've interacted with people from that aspect. You don't get the same feeling learning outside the university or online. And so I believe that much as there is a case for learning online, that human element, that element of cross-fertilization of ideas, sitting together, learning from different people, from different cultures is very important. And in the same way, the systems within the universities need to be integrated. You can't work in isolation, saying that I'm marketing and somebody's health or somebody's student services. We're all working for the common purpose. And the more we learn to collaborate and work together for the common good of our students, the better we'll be.
Wow, thank you, thank you. We have a pool of wonderful ushers who are helping us. They have roving microphones.
So my question is, what are those best strategies of how to make systems work effectively?
What are you there for? Is it about the students? Is it about the outcomes or the impact of the student? And once you get that as an institution, you need to cascade it down to the various departments. So in Ashesi, for example, we have a bigger vision, a new Africa. We have our mission that we are educating ethical entrepreneurial leaders in Africa who will bring about that change that we envision. But then we sit down as admissions and say, in the bigger picture, where do we as admissions fall? What is our role? What is our vision? And we are saying we're marketing the university, right? Using appropriate channels and all that, but we fit ourselves into the bigger picture. If every department, every unit will fit themselves into the vision of the university, then you know that we're working towards one goal. And that's where we need to collaborate with each other. So academics need to understand that if we do not bring them the right students, they can teach everything they want, they may not get the right outcome. Right? So then they need to work with us. Student services need to understand that if they don't give us feedback, we will continue doing the same things, yet they will be expecting different results. And so it's important that we start right with the very mission or the vision, cascade it, and let everybody understand. Again, there's the need for regular, say, whether it's once a month, once a semester, team building in terms of interdepartmental meetings where you get to understand what the challenge is. Sometimes we work blindly. You make assumptions that people know what you're looking for or people know what your challenges are in a particular department. And so systems may not work because we're not talking to each other. And so it's important that in the bigger picture, we still learn to come focus, refocus, recenter talk to each other, and ask questions that will deepen the conversations, broaden the scope, and that will help us know where the gaps are and how best. And sometimes my answer may lie with, the Accessibility Center. They would be able to provide feedback that solves my problem. Another may lie with career services. So it's important for systems to work. It needs all of us working towards a common goal and talking to each other.
Wow, thank you.
My question goes to the professor of AI. I know you've answered somehow the question of, and you have managed to bring in the students to start understanding the power of using AI. But what we have seen among our colleagues generally is a fear that AI is going to take them up, and AI is going to take their minds. AI is going to make them look foolish. When the students come and they see whatever I've been teaching is actually from AI, how have you been able to overcome that change of mindset among the colleagues so that they embrace AI positively to see that it can actually make life a little bit easier for themselves, especially when it comes to working on the online content? Thank you.
Okay. Well, first, thank you very much for labeling me Professor of AI. That's an honor. You know, we were asking ourselves, how do we go with AI at the university? And I had joined the university, and when I was talking to, I went to some conferences, and I met with, top researchers, people who know what's happening really, behind the LLMs. And they're, as you can imagine, they're humble people. They know so much, and that's why they're so humble. And they end up answering the question, when you say, where is this heading? They say, I don't know. Say, what do you mean you don't know? Say, we have no idea. We don't know if schools will still exist. We know nothing. If somebody tells you, they're lying, because nobody knows. And it's changing so fast. And I think that what happened is that we're seeing it now. AI is surprising everybody. Apple just published a paper saying models don't reason. And OpenAI just, continues publishing better models. And the question is, what does it mean that it doesn't reason when it does amazing things like humans? Do we actually reason differently? Aren't we also, as humans, aren't we maybe machines of pattern recognition algorithms as well? Because we see things from this is what we learn as kids, and then we end up replicating what we discussed with people, etc. The question is, philosophically, we can continue talking about this, but practically, we had to do something. So what we did is we took AI and gave it to everybody without even asking the question. Of course, this is a problem, because professors were saying, wait a minute, you're giving this to students. And our answer is, yes, we're giving it because they already have it. They're not going to wait for us to have it. They have it at home. They work with it. They play with it. What do you think? So let's just embrace it. So we're the first ones less than a year ago, and we said it, and my president at the university called me the next day of the announcement, and he said, I got so many calls. And I was like, is this good or bad? And he said, no, actually it's good. I said, how? His people said, great, you are a very courageous university. You did this, you gave it to students. I said, okay, thank God, because I thought I was going to die. And the thing is, we tell the truth to students, actually. If you ask me the question, how did we get them and remove the fear? I came to the classroom and said, look, we all have access to the same technology, and you may use it better than us, we the instructors. And that's why I cannot actually teach you maybe more than what you know. But what I'm going to do is invite you to a debate where you're going to exist by yourself. Because without you giving us what you think, you don't exist either. So what do you think about this and that? Tell me what you're going to do with it. The class was a hospitality course, in the School of Hospitality. And we were always talking about how they would use this in hotels and restaurants and services. and they could relate very quickly to the problems that they would face. But they were telling me things that they lived in internships and real life stories that are amazing, that you would never hear if you didn't have this frank discussion with them. That's why I think it is frightening. A lot of people are asking questions and wondering if AI is going to take them out. But I think it's too late to worry. If you're still worrying, you're just wasting your time. Yeah, because you'll end up very quickly understanding that you should, instead of worrying, you should do something about it. And what to do is actually just embrace, just jump on it and embrace the technology. Let people use it, see what they think, and listen. We need to really see how the impact of this. Nobody knows, again, what's happening, how it will finish, this story. When that movie, The Gods Must Be Crazy. Must be crazy, exactly.
Yeah, gods.
I love that movie, and this is what I actually came up with to my students and said, that bottle of Coca-Cola, this is AI for us today. People didn't know what to do with it. They fought about it. They used it as a tool to break things. They used it for music. They did everything with the bottle of Coca-Cola. This is AI for us today. We don't know exactly what we're going to do about it, but it's here, and it's not going to leave us. So that's why, instead of worrying, just smile, use AI, and try it.
Thank you, Jalal. Thank you. We're taking one more question.
My name is Fanuel from the University of Cape Coast, Ghana. So there are two dimensions. I look at culture and then also resourcing. So I've tried several in the last few days to even convince colleagues, seniors who are lecturers, faculty members about AI and the student-centeredness. And you see that there is a lot of resistance. You are perhaps the minority among the majority of about 1,000 people. What are some initiatives we can use to convince them? And I see resources with your infrastructure, and it is not so common. I'm sure your university is one of the most resourced universities in Africa, I know. For public universities that are not probably well resourced, are there smaller beginnings for us so we can start something like this? Then to Prof. Park also, I see that the initiatives are really good. The question is, assuming there are 10 universities and the cost of maybe a student hostel is 10 million. Each university students have raised about 1 million and the money is sitting down, none of them can start. Can we probably escalate this and make it even more popular through maybe the Education Collaborative, Auntie Rose is here, so that the spirit of Ubuntu Africa, one unitedness, can we bring maybe 10 universities together, guaranteed by their leadership, and say, okay, let's bring all those $1 million together. Let's start with this university this year. Then they will pay back once the project is completed. In 10 years, we may have 10 of such 1,005 hostels built in 10 universities through this kind of initiative, and that would be a beginning of a great thing. Maybe. Thank you very much.
Yes, I think the major problem with our public universities is funding. Government funding for infrastructure, we all agree, doesn't come in as expected. And so collaborations are the best. These days, the public universities, some are looking at public-private partnerships, where the private sector comes in, puts up these facilities, they operate for some number of years, and then they transfer the facilities back to the universities. So yes, I think if universities can come together, pool our resources together, we can make a headway. If students can come together over a period of 12 years, my students have paid this loan over a period of 12 years. They were paying by installments every year. After they contracted the loan, they were able to pay off this loan. Why not? Students can do this. Institutions can collaborate, because these buildings are capital intensive. This building, I think in 2010, the students, I'm being told, paid about 10 million Ghana cedis. If you do the mathematics then, you see that that is money. I mean, but students were able to raise this. And so I think universities can embrace this spirit and come together. The challenge is whether our universities are willing to come together. We see ourselves as entities on our own, but we are struggling. So I think it is something that stakeholders will all need to think through and see if we can pull our resources together. I'm sure we can go a long way to improve our infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jalal?
Yes, I think you're right. Money is important for sure. But at UM6B, we're very fortunate that we had, you're right, a lot of resources. But we're not using them for just the benefit of us. We are really mindful of our mission, which is Empower Minds in Africa. And for this, what we are trying to do is find solutions to scale, as I said. We won't be able to create or build the same university in different places. It's too expensive. But it's a lab for Africa, and we're testing things. We're so fortunate and so happy that we are given this opportunity by our management and the people who set up the university, because we are really taking our time to develop solutions. So again, as I said, let's take AI and use it to the problem we have. What is the problem? Problem is, I said in the beginning of my presentation, access to quality education. We really think that the energy of Africa is its people. And this is always true everywhere, but especially in Africa, the very, I think the most important thing is the youth and the energies. We have to find a way to unleash them. For this, we need to give access, and to give access, we need to shorten the path that a student or a learner has to learning. And for this, we have to get out of the way of students. Not many administration, not too many rules and regulations and all that stuff. We just have to give people the opportunity to very quickly apply and learn. And this is, we really believe that pouring that many resources, we are sure something will come out. And it always does. Because again, necessity is the mother of invention. And what we have in Africa is a very unique understanding of our own context, as I said. And we have to believe in the capacity of young people in Africa to come up with solutions. We need more access to education. We need more access to health. We don't need to solve the problems of the US. They have weird problems for us. They think about things, we don't get it. And it's normal. It's another environment. Europe, they think about things that they have solved many years ago, but we still didn't solve here. We need to give access to finance to our companies. We need access to insurance, to farmers. So basic problems still need to be solved. But now we're going to be solving them with new technologies, new ways of doing. This is the promise. I mean, if we don't get this, if we don't leapfrog, we're going to stay behind. And nobody said we have to go through the same story as those different countries. Nobody said that. Now, in the face of this new technology, we can actually accelerate everything. And we can, because look at it, it's just amazing. And most of it is free. We don't have to get the best and the latest technology. We don't have to. It's very expensive, and that's what they're doing. Again, they develop things to make more money. We are not there yet. We make more money to develop things because we need to solve problems for so many Africans who do not have the chance to be like with us in this conference. So I really think it's so, this particular period in our history is amazing, and especially for our continent. And that's why, as you said, let's come together with many universities, put our resources, but the end goal is really to give between the hands of every individual a minimum access to things they can use to solve problems.
Wow, thank you, Jalal.
But I just wanted to suggest something very practical. and echo what he said, what Jalal said, which is, I think he mentioned at the beginning, the movement of AI is like the discovery of electricity. And so it's not the people who say, I'm tough and wonderful by staying in the dark. You know, I think if we think about it that way, we really have to deeply understand that it is like electricity, and you do not get an award for staying in the dark. That's number one. Number two, I think practically, because Education Collaborative, it's about being action-oriented, I do think we should organize a visit to UM6B.
Yes.
And I'm thinking about two categories of people. Number one, it has to be university leaders, the presidents and vice chancellors, to really go and see what it looks like. So at Kepler, we've done it several times, and we are now launching our own. We already have internal initiatives. We've seen what's working. We want to learn some more. I'm really interested in the course builder, because you said 80% cheaper. I was like, let's do that, you know? But, you know, we need to go and visit and to see that it can be done for the free versions. It doesn't always require you to get the latest version of DeepSeek, yeah? So university leaders, and I always believe that you have to start with the willing. So you can't convince 100% of faculty. Take the 10% who are willing, show them what they can do, and get started. And so those two categories of people, we should maybe visit practically and take it from there.
You're welcome.
So Education Collaborative, maybe not fund everybody, because I know Rose is already looking at me, but organize it so that we can go and visit. Yeah. And this is a worthwhile investment. It's worthwhile travel, because it's the future of our universities. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. The challenge is again to Auntie Rose. The pressure goes there. It's been a joy. Thank you. Can we clap for these wonderful panelists as they assume back to their seats? To invite Rose Dodd. Rose is the Executive Director of the Education Collaborative, and she'll be bringing to us the thoughts around the outcomes report and the launch of this June convening.
I'm really excited to be here this morning. Good morning once again, everyone. I titled what I'm going to say, The Right Place at the Right Time with the Right People. So I am going to definitely touch a bit on the outcomes report, what we've done so far. And then I will talk about where we are headed over the next few years. So distinguished guests, university leaders, ecosystem partners, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Education Collaborative 2025 June convening. It is always an honor to be here with you, not just to reflect, but to imagine what comes next. We are also excited to be hosting the June convening outside of Ghana for the first time since we started in 2017. Rwanda is one of 5 countries that allows free travel to all Africans without prior approval, visa approval, with Ghana being the most recent 5th one. I think that deserves. And this openness makes convenience like this possible. To all our partners in Rwanda, all the university leaders we are working with, we say thank you for being very gracious hosts. Murakoze Nyani. Chani. Murakoze Chani. So as I was thinking of what to share today, the primary question on my mind was, how can we convince everyone here? How can I convince everyone here and everyone watching us around the continent that we are in the right place at the right time with the right people? 8 years ago, we welcomed some 12 universities and organizations to our first June convening on Ashesi's campus in Brekusu in Ghana. The feeling I had at that time was of hope and cautious optimism. We were embarking on an uncertain experiment, asking traditional competitors, universities, to think of how they could work together, making the case that collaboration was the only way we could effectively make higher education a force for growth in Africa. Today, as we welcome 73 universities and organizations to this convening, the feeling I have is different. It's a feeling of restlessness. Not restlessness born out of impatience, but of clarity. We now know that this vision of collective transformation is not only possible, it is also already happening. This brings a new kind of responsibility, which is central to our convening theme this year. We must now work to ensure that every African student, no matter where they come from, can access a university system on this continent that sees them, that serves them, and that prepares them to lead effectively. This morning we've heard extensively, and I'm sure through coffee break you heard even more, evidence of how collaboration can help us achieve this. We've engaged a community of almost 500 institutions across Africa who are sharing openly and shaping new thinking for higher education. We are a network that's reaching and serving over 320,000 students, developing new pathways for careers, innovation, entrepreneurship, leadership. We have the Eastern Africa Hub, the Western Africa Hub, the Southern Africa Hub of institutions, working to identify ways to improve systems and to have a unified voice that will contribute and improve policy in higher education. So this is not just about scale, it's about momentum, a certain momentum that we have started to garner or to build. Our greatest achievement is not expansion. It's not the numbers of universities. It's the shift in mindset that we've begun to cultivate. From competition to collaboration, to believing that we can create excellence right here on this continent. From isolation to openness. And from thinking of students as outputs to understanding them as the very reason why we exist as higher education institutions. And this shifting mindset comes at a very pivotal time. In recent months, we've all seen and heard in the headlines, visa bans, migration policy rollbacks, tightening borders. Students from across Africa are increasingly finding it harder to migrate to destinations that once promised opportunity. But this is not a crisis, right? It's a moment of reckoning for us, and it's a window of possibility. Because when international doors shrink, we are not left with nothing. We can open up to each other and build our own. So can African universities become destinations of choice for African students? The answer to this is yes. But this will only happen if we put the students at the center of everything we do as African universities. Not the institutions themselves at the center, not even the policies at the center, but the students at the center of everything we do. That means reimagining what quality means. That quality is not just academic prestige, but as relevance, equity, employability, and purpose. This means asking not just what did these students learn, but who did they become? And it means ensuring that African students can experience global, world-quality education without needing to leave the continent to find it. That is the work we've started in the Education Collaborative. And here's what we are going to be doing next to advance this work. Over the next 2 years, the Education Collaborative, now that is all of us here in this room today, together with our member institutions, will deepen our efforts to enable universities to strongly continue to drive career readiness and institutional systems for entrepreneurship development. Building on the successes that we've been developing and growing since 2017. We will invest in students not just as learners, but as leaders. And we will work with student leaders across the continent to leverage their roles to embed ethics, civic agency, and purpose into campus life, so that they are not only preparing for the future, but also shaping it. We will leverage the momentum we are seeing to boost initiatives that enable student and faculty mobility within Africa. Our goal will be to bring new African perspectives to our campuses and drive shared curriculum offerings across institutions. To measure our progress, impact, and even our shortcomings, we will continue to advance the Sub-Saharan African higher education rankings. Not to simply mimic global systems, but to assess ourselves against the missions we carry, the impact we want to have, and the various ways in which we contribute to the continent's education needs. And bringing all this together, we will curate and elevate African thought leadership so that we are not just consumers of global ideas, but contributors and authors of solutions from the learnings we are garnering from our own context. So what does this mean? So what does it mean, really, to be in the right place at the right time with the right people? It means being here now together. In this room are people who already know what it takes to change the story of higher education in Africa. Not by copying what others have done, but by showing what's possible when African institutions lead together. In conversations with me just about 2 or 3 days ago, one of my colleague attendees in this room here spoke about how his engagement in the Education Collaborative had taken him to other countries on the continent. Specifically, he got to immerse himself in higher education institutions within those countries. He said, I have visited Tanzania, I have visited Rwanda, I have visited Kenya, Nigeria. He said, I began to realize that I knew more about higher education programs outside of Africa than I did of programs in Africa. For him, the biggest value is how he has been able to connect better with a higher education system within which he has built and is continuing to grow his career. So this is why over the next few days, through the different sessions that you engage in the June convening, and the discussions that you have in the breakout sessions, I invite you to connect genuinely. As Dr. Sylvie mentioned and the Honorable Minister also mentioned, it's not just about the dialogue. It's also about the genuine connections that we make at the convening. Because you really are at the right place, at the right time, with the right people. So seek out opportunities to collaborate boldly and rethink all the assumptions we have held about what is impossible in Africa. The real test of this network is not how many universities we convene. It's how many students we are able to uplift through the systems that we are shaping and engaging in our daily work. And how many futures we help take root right here on this continent. So let us recommit to collaboration, not as an ideal, but as an intentional practice. The Education Collaborative, the entire purpose is to make it possible for institutions and individuals on the continent engaged in higher education to know that that institution next to you, in the community next to you, is working very hard to achieve the same outcome that you are setting out to achieve. And so collaborate genuinely, openly, bring together efforts so that we can quickly amplify and speed up the change and transformation that we want to see. Thank you once again for joining us at the 2025 June convening of the Education Collaborative. And I wish you a great convening this year.